Weekend 5 of the official Caterham Motorsport Championship was the annual pilgrimage to Europe, and this year we're heading off to the legendary Circuit du Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It's a firm favourite of the DPR Motorsport team and its drivers. The race centre truck and awning plays a vital role in the team's race weekend. It's a massive physical and logistical effort to get everything put together, but it plays a central role in a number of ways. .420R driver Aaron Head took some time out on Saturday morning before the action got underway to see how his year has gone so far and also to understand the role that the race centre has for him as a driver. Aaron, welcome to the DPR sofa. It's the first time we've had you on here this year. Firstly, a few years off, but you're back in the paddock, having a good old time. How's your season gone so far?
Yeah, it's been an interesting season. It's been hard to come back into this from classic racing. It's totally different. You know, when you're battling so close with everyone, you're forgetting. So when I used to race in Caterhams, it was so close. But when you go into classic racing, it's a lot more gentleman driving. You know, it's still close, but you take care. And in this, it's such close racing that you're not used to it. So you're backing out of certain opportunities. So I'm hoping now, moving on in the rest of the season, going to go back to how we were and go in for those moves that we used to.
You've had some good old fights back through the field though, so that must feel good to just work your way back up again.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed coming through the field. I think we're pretty good at it when we come through the field. We've shown our pace when we do that as well, which is good race pace. When we get to the front, it seems to then sort of just sit there, but we're hoping that we'll be able to push our own air a little bit more soon.
Okay, and Spa, we're at Spa. Everyone loves Spa, right? How's your weekend gone so far, he asks?
Oh, great. No, it's been really good so far, to be fair. Up till third practice yesterday, when we were coming up for Eau Rouge, two guys were doing a move on each other, tried to stick around the outside of them, and then I came from quite far behind to go round them. One of them avoided the other one to the right, ended up colliding with myself, and then I ended up in the tyre barrier. So
what was the damage on the car then?
Quite significant. The front right was hanging off the car. The front end was very shortened, and got the team on it as soon as we got back straight away. I think we've got a time lapse of the rebuild happening. So I guess that's one of the really important things about having this race centre that we looked earlier on at being set up and how important that is for the team. Yeah, totally. It's a massive positive for the driver having such a good team behind them, and you sort of know that. So when I had the crash, I was like, you're not sat there thinking to yourself, great, that's it, we're done. It's like, I'm sure the team can do something with this, and having that in your head, it's a lot better, because when you're sat there for 10 minutes, you're there going, okay, I'm pretty sure they can do something with this, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. And I guess the other thing about the race centre from a driver's point of view is the truck and having the instructors on there ready to help out. I mean, you're an experienced driver, right? You've been doing this for many, many years, but you still sit there with Darren and you go through everything.
Yeah, it's a massive positive having that. Darren goes out and does a reference lap. You sort of build off of each other type of thing. It helps the other drivers as well when you go out, and they can work from your lap as well because of those conditions that day. But when Darren's there, it's really good. You know, even if you're a top level driver, there's always places to improve, and Darren just helps with that and to fine tune those bits.
All right, well, I've seen the car, it's looking good, so fingers crossed for quali, and let's get out there and do it.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be quicker than ever.
The Spa circuit is a long and wide track and has especially fast corners in the Caterham. Let's go on board with Gordon Sawyer in his 310R during testing. Driver coach Dave Robertson talks us around.
So it's bonjour and welcome to Spa in Belgium for the next round of the Caterhams. Riding on board with Gordon for this one in 310s. Just lining ourselves up for a fast lap. We're looking at the Friday test session for this one, so end of play Friday. And here we go towards the start line, building up out of the tight last chicane and coming up towards the source hairpin. Really, really tight. Looking for the 100 board on the left hand side. Fourth, third, down to second. Not quite getting enough of the apex curve on the inside there, but a clean line nonetheless. Looking for a toe really to get the best out of this lap. And on demand, a 420 is going to appear just for the run into Eau Rouge. Looking to keep it flat in 310s. Lots of curb on the left. Lining yourself up for a good approach to Radillon and through onto the Kemmel straight. A very, very long straight this, so every time you get a toe down here it just pays off and pays off to the tune of about 1 second plus. We've got a bit of a toe from the 420, so we'll get to around 120 miles an hour, but with a really good double toe into 125 miles an hour even with the 310s. Braking well into the curb, back into third for Les Combes. Long run through the curbs on both sides, throwing out a little bit there which sets him up not ideally for the last curb, but a tidy little section nonetheless. Back up to fourth gear and then we're down into Bruxelles. Very, very off camber this, and letting the car run wide will just mean that Gordon's able to get a better and cleaner straighter exit. Firmly on the power, and then we're down into the left, staying in third, just looking for a bit of curb on the inside, and then using all of the exit curb as we head down towards Double Gauche. Very, very fast corner this. Staying in fourth, pushing the braking point as late but also as soft as possible just to carry the momentum. Full use of the circuit at the midpoint and then flat on the power as we head through back up to campus. Nice little bit of a toe here as well, which will help the lap time. Dropping back to third, trying to carry momentum as much as possible here, but also staying tight for the right to open up the left. Firmly on the power again, and Gordon's put himself in a really nice place to have a good lap. Third, again for this right, and then we're starting to look towards Blanchimont for a big climb back up to the final section. Flat through here, and again it's a strong toe as we head up the hill. Nice kart circuit on the right for those with a bit more free time. And now he's into clean air. With a good toe here, we'd be looking to get to 120 mile an hour, but as Gordon's got no toe at this point, leaving it in fourth, 116, just about touching the limiter. Flat through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop. So from 116 mile an hour going to the slowest part of the track, pushing the braking point as far and as late as possible, down into second, compromising the first right to get a good run through the left and as clean as possible an exit up to the start finish. For quite a tidy lap, a little bit more left there, but still it's a 2:49.7, fastest lap of the session, setting him up well for a race day.
DPR Motorsport were back to running 4 cars in the 270R Championship with the return of Nilesh Parmar to the awning. Qualification didn't go exactly to plan, with the drivers a little further back down the grid than normal. However, the long straights and fast corners at Spa mean that qualification isn't the most important track session of the weekend. As the cars were lining up to go out on track, the rain that had been threatening for a while finally arrived. A light drizzle at first saw the race started under a safety car. A couple of laps later, the race had been released and conditions had deteriorated massively. It was extremely tricky just to keep the cars going in a straight line, and there was plenty of aquaplaning going on all around the track. Chris Moore spun on a huge wave of water coming down the hill to Eau Rouge. and a short while later Nilesh Palmer hit the same puddle and ended up facing the wrong way. Both drivers would sink right down the order. James Murphy was making very strong progress through the field, however he was hit from behind coming into La Source hairpin late in the race, and the rear right damage was too bad to continue, so he pulled into the pits and retired. Dan Halstead mostly kept his car facing the right way and remained circulating near the front of the field. Whilst he didn't make the podium this time, it was another great result in the most difficult of conditions. Race 2 for the 270Rs was a bright, sunny, summer conditions, a world away from the conditions of race 1. There was the customary battle between a large group of drivers, all squabbling at the front of the field for first place. With a huge tow available up both straights, the race turned into a tactical battle and also a rather attritional one, with some spins, bumps and accidents causing cars to scatter, some drivers benefiting and others falling back. Unfortunately, Halstead, Murphy and Moore all got caught out by the incidents and were not rewarded with podium results. Murphy made great progress through the field initially from the back of the grid, and he made it all the way to 6th place, but as he joined the lead battle, contact took off his exhaust and he struggled to maintain position, eventually falling back to the rear of the lead group. Nilesh moved up to 17th from the rear of the field by the time the checkers were shown. Chris Moore ended up 14th, James Murphy 12th and Dan Halstead 9th. Qualification for the 310Rs was run in good conditions, but with only 20 minutes to set a lap time, there was a little luck as to whether you'd got the perfect tow or not. Perry put his car onto 4th place, Sawyer would start 6th, Christie 15th, Landy 32nd and Curtis 37th. Once the racing started for real, the 310R grid quickly formed their customary pack racing format. The action was close and as intense as normal, with the top 5 deciding to go 5 wide up the Kemmel Straight. However, it wasn't long before the rain appeared, starting at La Source. With the rest of the track dry, the wet corner caught out a number of drivers heading into this heavy braking zone. The shower soon turned into a rainstorm, and after a couple more laps with incidents happening around the track, the inevitable safety car was deployed, and a couple of laps later, the red flags were flown. Once the dust had settled, Perry was shown in 3rd place, Sawyer recovered to a 4th place after slipping to the rear of the top 10. Harry Landy, Doug Christie and Gary Curtis all finished towards the rear of the field after various spins and incidents on the treacherous track. Conditions for race 2 couldn't have been any different, with wall-to-wall sunshine greeting the drivers. From the start, the whole pack seemed to want to be in first place. Perry and Sawyer were both running consistently towards the front of the lead pack. However, a missed braking point towards the halfway mark in the race saw Perry hit the rear of Jay McCormack, which led to retirement from the race. Things stayed similar for the whole duration, On the last lap, any one of the top 4 could have taken the win, but unfortunately for Sawyer, his gearbox broke on the last corner and his ailing car caused all sorts of issues for the pack and ultimately saw Sawyer end up in 10th place. Landy made up a whole heap of places from the back of the grid to make it to 15th. Christie didn't have his strongest weekend but finished a solid 19th, and Curtis moved forward in his own battles to finish 28th at the flag. After an overnight team effort to get Aaron Head's car fixed after a testing accident, everyone's effort was repaid by a pole position. Alex Jordan snagged 14th, Chris Bates 15th, and Ian Spa-Francorchamps would line up 19th after his return to the team. A fast quartet of drivers formed at the pack at the front of the 420R field and gradually pulled the gap to the chasing pack of 6 cars. Aaron Head and John Byrne looked like they could form a breakaway duo before the rain started and eventually brought a halt to proceedings. Chris Bates had a very strong showing, remaining firmly part of the chasing group and showing strongly inside the top 10 throughout. Ian Spa-Francorchamps and Alex Jordan were in the chase group, chasing down the top 10. At the time the safety car was deployed, Aaron was in 2nd place, Bates 9th, Spa-Francorchamps 16th and Jordan 17th. And that's the order they finished as we went to red flags for conditions.
On board camera, 2nd place, caliber 5, David Henderson. David Henderson, 2nd. And the victory, what a race, what a battle, caliber 3, Mr. John Byrne. Bravo John, victoire donc de John Byrne devant David Henderson et Aaron Head.
In the second race of the weekend, Aaron Head was hard at work trying to chase down a flying John Byrne. Unfortunately for Head, contact saw him spin into the barriers at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and ultimately this led to retirement from the race. Chris Bates was firmly installed in the lead pack and looked comfortable. The run of the late race didn't quite go his way, but he still ended up in a fabulous 8th place by the time the flag was shown. Jordan was only a couple of places further back in 10th, and Ian Spa-Francorchamps ended in 15th. With the racing all done, we caught up with team principal David Rowe to reflect on the season and also on the new race centre.
Okay, Dave, so we're here at the Spa round of the season. We've only got two rounds to go now. We've spoken to a lot of the drivers, we've spoken to the mechanics, but we haven't really caught up with you properly about how you felt the season's gone so far.
Well, it's been a really good season, actually, to be honest. It's been a great season for us. Lots of changes in the team. Obviously, the new race centre that we talked a bit about at Croft has gone down really well. We're a lot more efficient. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that have changed, which has just helped us immensely. So we're in a really good place. In fact, we're probably in the best place we've ever been. And we've been doing this for 12 seasons of racing, and we're in the best place we've been so far.
And we spoke to some of the mechanics earlier in the year. We spoke to Andre and how you got the things restructured, and how's that been working out in general? I mean, there's a lot of new staff, so what are there difficulties around that, and how have you kind of overcome that?
There's a lot of new stuff, but my God, there's been 110% going into this from everyone, and everyone 100%. They've got a can-do attitude. They're all team players, and it's really shown. It's just such a great buzz and a great feel this year. It's amazing. It's quite incredible.
And we've been concentrating on our video so far about the actual race centre that we're sitting now. How it's a big effort to put this thing up, and it takes a long time. But I mean, what are the kind of benefits that it brings to the team?
Well, structure. So in terms of like how large the scale is, it allows us to put the required amount of cars in the in the awning with enough space to work around them comfortably. And then in terms of the setup in the back of the truck as well for the data engineering, the coaching, and also the parts supply at the weekend, everything is all in one here.
And we've again, we followed along with Aaron, who had an incident on Friday, hit the barrier, and we also had James Murphy in a race. He's got some damage, so I guess again the logistics of having everything on site means that you can get those cars back out.
Yeah, I mean basically this is pretty much our workshop is duplicated here at racetrack, and we're as effective as we are here at the track as we are in the workshop. So for example, all the cars, once they've had a shunt and had an accident, they've been repaired, we are setting them up back to literally 100% again every time. And it's testament to the boys as well. They're on the case, they're getting stuck in, they know exactly what they're doing, they're very well trained, and it's great, it works. I mean, another thing which really helps us is the pre-preparation back at the workshop. So a lot of the parts, the corners, are all pre-sub-assembled, set up, ready to go. So literally we want to waste as little time as possible, and then try and fit the cut parts on the car as quickly as possible.
And there we go, and we've seen the benefits of this weekend. So
Yeah, that's great.
let's hope the next 2 rounds are equally as successful and we get some good results.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe a few less crashes would be good. But if it does happen, we're here to try and get them out of trouble.
We'll go and sort those drivers out. Cheers, Dave.